مشاهدينا في كل مكان، أهلا ومرحبا بكم. العلاقات المصرية الأرجنتينية بترجع لأكثر من 75 عام مضى، تحديدا سنة 1947، واللي توجت بالتمثيل الدبلوماسي سنة 1953. تلك العلاقات التاريخية هي اللي فتحت الآفاق للتعاون التجاري والاقتصادي ما بين البلدين. لو عايزين تعرفوا أكتر يبقى تابعونا، وهذا اللقاء الخاص مع سعادة السفير إدواردو فارييلا، سفير جمهورية الارجنتين لدى جمهورية مصر العربية، فابقوا معنا وتابعونا. مشاهدينا في كل مكان، عن العلاقات المصرية الأرجنتينية هيكون في ضيافتنا اليوم سعادة السفير إدواردو فارييلا، سفير جمهورية الارجنتين لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. Your Excellency, it's a pleasure meeting you today and thank you for having us.
My pleasure, always an honor. And as I said before, I mean, it's something we value very much, this possibility of talking to Egyptian people.
Your Excellency, there is many aspects of cooperation in between the two countries, Egypt and Argentina. So please can we start by talking about the volume of trade cooperation in between the two countries and the Mercosur agreement?
Yes, as you said, we have a very long and a very rich bilateral relation. We are celebrating this year 75 anniversary of diplomatic relations between Egypt and Argentina. And yes, one of the let's say the highest moment of this relation was the Mercosur agreement, which was signed in 2010, I think, but entered into force only in 2017, 5 years ago. And it's a free trade agreement between the 4 countries of Mercosur: Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay, and Egypt. Mercosur has not so many free trade agreements, so this is one of the few we have, the one with Egypt. And we can say is working very well. I mean, still the Mercosur agreement has a period of 10 years for the whole process of liberalizations. Every year a new package of products enter in the process of liberalization. So now we are in the middle of this process. But it has already had a big impact, particularly in export from Egypt, talking about bilateral relations. Particularly export from Egypt to Argentina. They have increased a lot, coming for a very low base. But the improvement of the export, Egyptian export to Argentina, has been remarkable. In the case of our export to Egypt, they remain more or less in the same level, which is very good for us, because Egypt for us is a very important partner in trade terms. We are selling to Egypt average 1.5 billion US dollar every year. But the problem both ways is that this trade is very much concentrated on a few products. We basically...
Can we have some examples of those products?
Of course. We export to Egypt, we used to sell a lot of oil, vegetable oil, but lately we are selling a lot of corn, maize, and soybeans, and some oil, and every now and then some wheat. And the export from Egypt to Argentina are also very much concentrated on fertilizers. So the challenge for both of us is to keep, of course, this level of trade and try to increase it, but also try to diversify, to include new products, particularly products with the higher added value.
Your Excellency, and how about the size of the Argentinian investment in Egypt? How much it is?
No.
Is there any?
No, there is no much investment, not Argentinian investment in Egypt, neither Egyptian investment in Argentina. This is one of the missing things, one of the pending issues, and we are confident that the dynamic of the free trade agreement, the increase of trade, the incorporation of both productive systems in value chains will provoke some movement of investment. But the fact is that nowadays we don't have. We have.
If you're gonna have it, sorry for interrupting
Yeah.
Your Excellency. If you're gonna have it, what field are you looking forward to have investment in Egypt in it?
Well, I suppose, I mean, the sector which has the highest development in Argentina is agriculture. So most probably will be in agriculture. Not only
Not the power and energy
well,
field?
power and energy, we are not investors, but we have a capacity of, we are also energy producers. We have, I mean, for example, I mentioned in the previous conversation we have about Argentinian development in nuclear energy.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a long-standing cooperation with Egypt in nuclear energy. An Argentinian company built a experimental nuclear reactor for Egypt, which is still working in Shas, and it's a cooperation that's still going on. So we have this in the field of energy. We have this already established line of cooperation with Egypt in the area of nuclear energy, and then we have a huge, one of the biggest reserves of non-conventional gas in Argentina. But this is new, and we are working on that. You know, non-conventional gas requires a lot of investment and different kind of treatment that, for example, the gas you have here in the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there is still some room for cooperation also in this area of energy. So we are both energy producer countries with probably some similar problems, and it's something that we have to find ways to work together.
And we are looking forward for it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Cooperation in the field of culture or the education?
well, yes, you know, this is very important because I always said this, that the main deficit of the bilateral relation between Egypt and Argentina is that we don't know each other well. We are far away, we don't have, we come from different cultural traditions, we move in a way in different circuits, but we have a lot of common traits and similarities, but we don't know each other enough. So, and the best way to solve this is through the cultural promotion. The best way to know each other is through the highest expression of our culture. And this is something we try to, with the limited resources we have, we are trying to do here. Not only, I mean, bringing Argentinian artists here, like musicians or movies, or even promoting translation of Argentinian writers, but also contacting universities. We have, this embassy has very good relation with many universities here in Cairo and elsewhere in Egypt, particularly those in which they have Spanish schools. Yeah, but this is a critical aspect of the bilateral relation that we have to continue working.
The agriculture sector in Argentina is very successful, and also here in Egypt.
Yeah.
So is there any kind of cooperation, scientific cooperation, in the field of agriculture in between the two countries?
Yes. It's a long tradition of cooperation both ways. I mean, Egyptian cooperation to Argentina, Argentinian to Egypt, through different actors, public sector, but also the private sector. Lately, we are very much into trying to create some line of cooperation in the area of biotechnology. Argentina has some interesting development on that, and also technology for the service of agriculture. When the issue, you know, with the Russian-Ukrainian war started, and we have this impact on the issue of wheat, which is very sensitive here. I mean, the reaction of Argentina was, okay, yes, we are wheat producers, so we can sell good quality wheat to Egypt, but We can also, because of the technology Argentina has developed and the tradition we have in the field of wheat, we can not only sell the wheat, but we can also help Egypt to improve the productivity in wheat in Egypt. And so in order to reduce the dependence of Egypt in the question of import of wheat.
And what about the tourism sector? Is there any cooperation in between the two countries in it?
Not formal cooperation, but there is a quite intense current of tourism coming from Argentina to Egypt. I don't know what are the numbers now, but before the pandemic, Argentina was from the Spanish-speaking countries, the highest number of tourists came from Argentina at the time. So of course Egypt is a very attractive destination for Argentinians in terms of tourism. The problem we have is that we are far away again, and we don't have direct flight. So I mean, I traveled to Argentina now in July for holiday to visit my family and friends, and it takes almost one day to go from Cairo to Buenos Aires, one day, because you have to go through.
Your Excellency, is there any aims for the future to have a direct flight in between Argentina and Egypt, especially that you mentioned before that the historical monuments, the Egyptian historical monuments are something very attractive to all the Argentinian people. So is there any plans for the future in it?
Yes. There is an effort being made by the Brazilian government, negotiation with the Egyptian government, to have a Egypt Air flight, Cairo-San Pablo. And as far as I know, it's quite advanced, and hopefully we will have it very soon, and this will be a great help. And we have also the expectation that once this flight, Cairo-San Pablo, is established, after a few years maybe we can think of an extension, and the flight arriving to San Pablo can continue up to Argentina. Which is the case, nowadays you can go from here to Argentina through Istanbul or through Addis Ababa or through Dubai, and in all those cases it's a flight San Pablo, Buenos Aires. So why not in the future we can have Egypt Air, San Pablo, Buenos Aires.
Here for 5 years in Egypt. So Your Excellency, did you see most of the Egyptian monuments, and what attracted you more?
Well, yes, I travel. It's inexhaustible. Egypt is too big, too many things to see. But I try to cover at least the most important. I travel to the main sites, of course, Luxor, Aswan, Alexandria, the Red Sea beaches, the North Coast beaches, which are fantastic, probably one of the best in the world. And another thing that I like it very much and enjoy a lot is the desert, the oasis. Of course, Fayoum, which is close from here, but also I visited Siwa, which was fantastic. And one of the most memorable experiences I have is to visit and spend the night in the middle of the white desert.
Just like camping.
Yeah. But in this area, which is so peculiar and so beautiful, yes, I enjoy it very much.
And did you go to the water eyes over there in Sinai?
Yeah.
The famous one.
Yeah. I went to that. I went to the St. Catherine, and I mounted Moses Mount with my daughter. She came to visit me, and we did that. You start walking at midnight, and you arrive at the top in the morning, and you see the sunrise. It's fantastic. It's mystic experience.
It takes me to another question. Do you think there can be a cooperation between the two countries in the field of health, or it's already there?
No, we have already cooperation. Argentina has donated 1 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine against COVID. That was in January this year, and that was the let's say a result of previous cooperation, but also a way of giving another boost to the cooperation between the two countries in the area of health, where we have a lot of potential, particularly in the area of pharmaceuticals.
And is there any scholarships in between the two countries for the students?
No,
No.
we don't have programs, unfortunately, but it's a good idea. We have to work on that, yes.
Your Excellency, and what about the Egyptian cuisine? Did you try some of it? And what did you like?
No, yes, I try a lot, I would say, and I enjoy it, I like it. I'm a fan of koshari, for example, but not only koshari, I like kofta, morohia, and the dessert is omali. I tried recently, I don't know how typical food it is in Egypt, but we don't have it in Argentina for sure, which is camel meat.
Camel meat.
Yeah, yeah. And I tried it, it was good.
You tried camel meat?
Yes. Yes. No, yes, actually in a restaurant here in Cairo. And no, I enjoy it. Egyptian food, which has its own personality, I mean, within the broader Middle East cuisine. In Argentina we have, of course, tradition of Arab food because of strong Arab community we have coming from Lebanon and Syria, basically. So we know about Middle East food, but I found that Egyptian food has its own personality, and I like it, I enjoy it.
The last question, I would like to ask you about the weather and climate conference, which is going to be held on Sharm el-Sheikh. How it's going to be your attendance for the country and for your country?
Yeah, well, we are working very hard on that. I mean, the embassy is very much involved not only in the logistics for our delegation, but also we are participating in some meetings organized by the presidency of the conference, which, as you know, is the Minister of Foreign Affairs. We will have a quite big delegation because the issue is very important for us, and this is in particular a very important conference because of the agenda, because of the challenges facing the war on this very important issue, and it's an area in which we, as Argentina and Egypt, we are in the same team. We are fighting for the same. We are in the same side, let's say, in the divide of the agenda of the conference. And we will have a quite big delegation. We will have our Minister of Foreign Affairs coming, probably the Minister of Environment, and it's not yet confirmed, but I hope we will have also our President participating in the conference. So yes, this is a big effort Egypt is doing, and as far as we can see, up to now we can say it's quite successful, and we are sure that it will be a very important and pregnant.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for having us today.
No, thank you. It was a pleasure and was very comfortable, and well, I hope that your public, Egyptian people have somehow a better knowledge about Argentina and how we care about the relation with Egypt.
Thank you, Your Excellency. مشاهدينا في كل مكان، وبكده انتهى لقائنا مع معالي السفير إدواردو فارييلو سفير جمهورية الارجنتين لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. تحدثنا مع سعادة السفير عن أبرز العلاقات المصرية الارجنتينيه في مجال التجاره، وايضا مشروعات الاستثماريه اللي هنأمل ان شاء الله انها تبقى متواجده على ارض الواقع، بالاضافه لغيرها من الموضوعات اللي كانت متعلقه بهذا الاطار. بشكركم لحسن المتابعه كثيرا، والى اللقاء في لقاء اخر.